Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm bringing you an article from the National Autistic Society here in the UK. It's called Sensory Differences and Autism, a guide to all audiences. So I will link the article down below in the video description so you can read more about it for your own information and further research. So let's get into it. Sensory differences and autism. Processing everyday sensory information can be difficult for autistic people. Any or all of their senses may be over or under sensitive, or both at different times. These sensory differences can affect how they feel and how they act, and can have a profound effect on a person's life. Here we can help you to understand autism, the person, and how to help them. So what's the first one we're going to be talking about in this section? Too much information. Sometimes an autistic person may behave in a way that you wouldn't immediately link to sensory difference. A person who finds it difficult to process everyday sensory information can experience sensory overload or information overload. Too much information can cause physical stress, anxiety, and possibly physical pain. This can result in withdrawal, distress behaviours, or meltdowns. So I'm going to pause it there for the minute because I want to talk about this from my own personal perspective as someone on the autistic spectrum. For me, when I get into that sensory overwhelm, anxiety overwhelm, sensory overload, sensory shutdown, I get so much information into my head, it just builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up, and all of a sudden my brain just goes, no, boom, bang, wallop, and then I get the physical pain symptoms. For me, it's more like anxiety attack. I get the tightness in the shoulders, feel like I can't breathe, or my arms start hurting. I get like tension headache across the top of my head. So for me, how can you help autistic people deal with this and help them better? There's 3 tips that I'm going to give you right now. These are from the National Autistic Society, which I totally agree with. Number 1 is be aware. Can you look at the environment to see if it is creating difficulties for the autistic person, and can you change it? This is a key crucial question, because if I'm in an environment where I know I don't like it, or I know I'm not going to be able to cope, I would expect the person with me, my advocate or my family or even my best friend, I would expect you to research that environment. I'd expect you to know if I can or can't cope with it, and if I can't, you need to figure out ways of how to get me out of that environment without me getting too much in a sensory overwhelm. Number 2, be creative. Think of some positive sensory experiences for the autistic person or autistic loved one you may be dealing with, or autistic work colleague you may be dealing with. So fidget toys is 1, going for a walk could be 2, bringing out their favourite anime magazine, or talking to them about their favourite hobbies. Like for me, it's politics, Buffy, policing, films, celebrities, things like that. So for me, that would be a really massive key part of who I am. Sensory differences. Here we are going to look at some of the effects of hypersensitivity and hyposensitivity to sight, sound, smell, touch, taste, balance, and body awareness, and how you can help the autistic person. So the first one we're going to talk about on this video is sight, and about an autistic person being undersensitive to sight. So for someone who is undersensitive, here is how you can help them, and the issues that they may face. Someone who is undersensitive may have objects appearing quite dark, or they lose some of their features. Their central vision is often blurred, but their peripheral vision is quite sharp. Central objects become magnified, but things on the periphery are all blurred out. They have poor depth perception, difficulties with throwing and catching, and clumsiness. Again, I'm kind of a little bit undersensitive to sight because I have the poor depth perception, difficulties with throwing and catching, and clumsiness. Like I said earlier, I'm very clumsy. Like I actually have a bruise right now on my arm from where I fell over. So again, it's not watching where I'm going and not having that awareness of where I am. So for someone who's oversensitive, let's talk about this. For someone who's oversensitive to sight, they may have distorted vision. Objects and bright lights can appear to jump. Images may be fragmented. Images may be easier and more pleasurable to focus on detail rather than the whole object in front of them. Has difficulty with getting to sleep or sleeping, as they're sensitive to the light around them. So for me, I'm oversensitive when it comes to sleeping and bright lights, because I can't cope with bright lights being around me, because I hear the humming, I see the flashing, I see the jumping. So again, for me, that does cause me problems with sleeping, because I have to have everything complete dark to be able to sleep. So what could you do to help someone who is either undersensitive or oversensitive to sight? You can make changes to the environment, such as reducing the fluorescent lighting, providing sunglasses, using blackout curtains or blinds, Or within the classroom, you can create a workstation, a space or a desk with high walls which blocks out the visual distraction. And next one is sound. How can you help an autistic person who's undersensitive to sound? They may only hear sounds in one ear, the other ear having partial hearing or none at all. They may not acknowledge particular sounds. They might enjoy crowded or noisy places, or they may bang on doors or objects. So that's the second part to the video. Sound continued, part 2. You could help by using visual supports to back up the verbal information and ensuring that the other people are aware of the undersensitivity so they can communicate effectively. To meet the person's individual sensory need, include experiences that they enjoy in their daily routine and daily timetable. So again, it's having fidget toys, having their favourite anime magazines, going out for a walk, looking at certain things online. So for instance, they have a fascination with Ninja Mutant Turtles, or in my case Buffy, or let us go in and watch an episode of our favourite programme to self-calm and self-regulate. So again, that's kind of something you can do. So how can you help someone that's oversensitive to sound? This is where I fit in, absolutely. I'm absolutely oversensitive to sound, especially to high-pitched noise. So for me, if I'm outside and I hear an ambulance, a motorbike, a police siren, a bus, something that's going to trigger me, and it's like, no, can't, no. And it gets to a point where I'm so oversensitive and so triggered by it that I get really disturbed. And yeah, and also it says here, the person may be able to hear conversations within a distance. So for me, when I'm out in public, I can hear multiple conversations. I can not just only hear me and my friend's conversation, I can hear the table next to us, the table behind us, the table to the side, especially the restaurant, the waiting staffs. They're talking, I can hear what they're saying about, and I can hear the people who are coming into the restaurant or the facility. I can hear, like, if I'm out at my Autism social club, I can hear what the social worker's talking about. I can hear what the support worker's talking about. So again, it's trying to block out all them voices behind you. So how can you help an autistic person who's oversensitive to sound? You can help by shutting doors and windows to reduce the external noise, preparing the person before going to a noisy or crowded place, providing them earplugs and music, creating a screened workstation in the classroom or the office, positioning the person away from all doors and windows. So how can you help a person who may be undersensitive to smell? So smell is the next section on this document. So you can help someone who's undersensitive to smell by this. Some people have no sense of smell and fail to notice their extreme odour. This can include their own body odour. Some people may lick things to get a better idea of the sense of smell or sense of taste. You could help by creating a routine around regular washing and using strong smelling products to distract people from their inappropriate strong smelling stimuli like feces. Because some people do smell things like that because they like the strong smell and they think it's a good thing, and it's often not. So next, how can you help someone who is oversensitive to smell? Again, this is definitely the area that I come into. I'm very, very oversensitive to smell. So for me, this is a perfect way of talking about it. Again, for me, I'm very oversensitive, so smells can be intense and overpowering. This can cause the following problems. So again, it can cause problems as feeling dizzy, sick, nauseous, lightheaded, anxious, panicky, sweating, that kind of stuff. Dislikes people with distinct perfumes or shampoo. Oh my god, this is the worst trigger, because for me, I hate perfume. I cannot stand it. Why on earth people wear perfume when all it does is smell like chemicals? It's rank, it's disgusting, and every time someone's around me who wears perfume, I'm just like, oh, please don't put this on. Please don't wear it if you're going to be around me, because it will trigger me, it will overstimulate my sensory smell, and it will make me feel anxious and sick and nauseous and headache. So again, I will not wear perfumes for that reason, and it also makes me feel that my skin is burning and itching. So again, I prefer not to wear things like perfume, just to keep my sensory issues at bay. Also, there used to be a store in my hometown, talking about smell, there used to be a store called Debenhams, where you'd walk into Debenhams and the first thing that you'd be greeted with is the perfume testers, sales assistant people. and they'd come at you and go, oh, smell this, smell this, smell this, smell this, and they'd squirt you like in your chest, on your face, and on your arms. I'm like, no, why do I want that? So again, it can lead to sensory shutdown, sensory overwhelm. So how can you help someone who's oversensitive to their smell? You could help by using unscented detergents or shampoos, avoiding wearing perfume, and making the environment as fragrance-free as possible. So what can you do to someone who's undersensitive to smell? They may like spicy food. Eat non-edible items such as stones, dirt, soil, grass, metal, feces. This is known as picker disorder, which I have a video on, which I will link in the description as well. So what can you do to someone who's oversensitive with taste? Taste is the next one. They may find some flavours and foods too strong and overpowering because of very sensitive taste buds and has a restricted diet. So again, for me as an autistic woman, I do have a lot of restricted diets. Well, not diet, but restricted foods that I eat because I know it tastes good, I know it smells good, I know that I like it, I've had it repeatedly, it's become routine, it's become my staple of food choice. So again, I know that it's certain things that I like. Certain textures can cause them extreme discomfort. They may only eat smooth foods. Yes, 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 yes. Because people like me only like smooth, soft food. I cannot eat foods that are lumpy. Oh my god, it makes me gag, makes me feel sick. I have to have things smooth, and it has to be so smooth that I won't gag or feel like I'm going to swallow it or whatnot. Some autistic people may limit themselves to bland foods or crave very strong tasting foods, as long as they have some dietary variety. This necessarily isn't a problem. To find out more, I would attach another link down below. So, yeah, that's that side of things done. So, taste, part 2. How can you help someone with taste who's undersensitive? They may hold others tightly. They need to do so to avoid a sensation of having any applied pressure. They may have a pain threshold, may be unable to feel food in their mouth, or maybe they may be having tendencies to self-harm. They may enjoy having sensory objects, weighted blankets around them or on top of them. Yes, my weighted blanket is my godsend. Right now I'm sitting on it and it helps to keep me grounded and focused on what I need to be doing. So how can you help people who are got sensory taste issues? You need to make them a sensory plan, encouraging them to try new things. And the next thing is vestibular balance. How can you help someone who's oversensitive with balance? So touch can be painful or uncomfortable. People may not like to be touched, and this can affect their relationships with you and trust. So again, I am sensitive to touch. I'm oversensitive. Like when I feel someone's touching me, I feel like I have electric shocks going through my whole body. So again, I need that people touch me who I know and who I've known for some time. They may dislike having anything on their hands or feet. So again, for me, I'm very yes and no to that, because sometimes I like having like gloves on my hands, sometimes I like wearing shoes, sometimes I don't. So again, it depends on what I'm doing at a certain time. Difficulties with brushing and washing hair because the head is sensitive. So again, I am sensitive when it comes to being touched, especially when I'm washing my own hair and brushing it. I don't like the feel of brushing my hair. When I brush it, it makes me go, ooh, because the feel of brushing it's like lumps and bumps and yeah, and we can only tolerate certain types of clothing or textures. Oh yes, oh boy, yeah, this is a really big issue with us, because with all clothing with me, I have to take out all the tags. I have to wash it before I wear it because I don't want it to be scratchy or itchy or burning on my skin. So that's another part of having sensory tactile issues. So yeah, I'm going to talk more about balance now. So touch. Warning the person if you're about to touch them, don't always approach them from the front. Remember that a hug may be painful rather than comforting. Don't change their texture of their food. Slowly introduce different textures or tastes around the person's mouth, such as a flannel, toothbrush, and different foods. Gradually introduce them to different textures, e.g. have a box of different materials. Allowing the person to complete their own activities themselves, e.g. hairbrushing or washing, so they can do what's comfortable and routine for them. Turning their clothes inside out so that there's no seam or tags. Allowing the person to wear the clothes that they are comfortable in, that they have brought themselves. So, how can you help a person that has balance issues or vestibular issues that may be undersensitive? They may need to rock, swing, or spin to get their sensory vestibular input. You could encourage activities that help to develop their vestibular system. This can include rocking horses, swings, roundabouts, seesaws, catching a ball, or walking smoothly upstairs or a curb. So what can you do to someone who is oversensitive to their vestibular system? Difficulties with activities such as motor movements or car sickness rides. Like, people will actually like that kind of stuff. So, yeah. So what can you do to someone who may be undersensitive to their vestibular system? They may stand too close to people because they don't measure their proximity to other people. So for me, I find it really difficult. I do stand too close to people. I'm not aware that I need to back away and give them space and time to be by themselves. Regularly bumps into people. Finds it hard to navigate rooms or avoid obstructions. How can you help them? By positioning furniture around the edge of a room to make navigation, using a weighted blanket to avoid that deep pressure, putting coloured tape on the floor to indicate personal boundaries, using the arm's length rule. So for me, it's like right now, I'm an arm's length away from my laptop, so it's a good way to know how to stay away from people. They may have difficulties with their fine motor skills, so manipulating small objects, buttons or shoelaces. So again, I can't do my shoelaces. I'm very, very aware of that I can't drop laces, or I need to wear slip-on shoes because of the fine motor skills. So yeah, I hope that's kind of helped you understand a little bit of basic autism knowledge. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed hearing what I had to say, and if you relate to me or if you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments down below. But thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!